Well, with me is Kethevane Gorjestani, who's been looking a little bit into those scenes in Manila. Kethevane, it is a little murky. What is your understanding then of what actually unfolded today?
Well, look, it remains still very much unclear what exactly happened. What we know from witness testimony, including reporters who were on the scene, is that there were shots that were fired inside the Philippine Senate. Some reporters talking about at least 5 shots, and this happening minutes after soldiers in a uniform walked in to the Senate building. But there was also police presence, so it's unclear whether either one of the soldiers group or the police group were the ones who fired the shots, or if it was somebody else. So at the moment that we're speaking, we still don't know what exactly set off those shots, why it happened, and who were the people who were actually doing the shooting. So far, no information about that. You mentioned, of course, Senator dela Rosa. He had been holed up in the Senate, and now we know from the Senate president, who is an ally, a political ally of De La Rosa, that De La Rosa, according to him, is secured and okay, though we don't know exactly his whereabouts, whether he's still within the compound of the Senate or elsewhere. So still a lot of things we don't know, actually, why this all unfolded and whether or not this could lead to something else and another attempt at potentially arresting Senator De La Rosa.
And look, I mentioned the war on drugs. Just remind us then what is the context here and what it is he's accused of.
Well, let's go back to Ronald de la Rosa, who, as we've been saying, has been holed up in the Senate building since Monday. Earlier today, he had also called on the army, on soldiers, to come and help him and prevent authorities from arresting him and from handing him over to the International Criminal Court. The International Criminal Court, who unsealed an arrest warrant on Monday, so it does explain why he's been holed up in the Senate since Monday. That's the date that the warrant was unsealed. The warrant itself was issued back in November, and the charges against the senator are the crime against humanity of murder of, quote, no less than 32 persons. This is all focused on a period of time between July 2016 and April 2018, at a time when De La Rosa was then President Rodrigo Duterte's national police chief, and therefore the chief enforcer of that war on drugs that had been carried out by President Duterte, that left, of course, as some of our viewers might remember, thousands of people dead, including some drug dealers, but also just some petty criminals and other people. And critics and human rights observers were saying at the time that these could potentially amount to extrajudicial killings. Duterte himself was arrested back in March of last year. He was extradited to the Netherlands. Well, he will be standing trial in The Hague, where, of course, the ICC is headquartered, and he is being tried on similar charges to De La Rosa, charges of crimes against humanity, again, for those killings by the authorities during that war on drugs.
All right, thank you so much, Kethevane Gorjestani, for us there.